In today's episode, everything was working perfectly, but this was easily my favorite service call. I did literally nothing, but I guess I fixed it. Zoom call settings. User error. Too many ions. Saying you messed up isn't hard to admit. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Everything was working perfectly, but this was easily my favorite service call. I'm a residential security system installer, but my boss calls me a tech, so hopefully that's close enough to share a tale that maybe you real techs can empathize with. 'Cause some weird stuff happens down here, and I've got some stories I've been telling the rookies for years. My most memorable service call happened probably 10 years ago, right around when I finally went from understanding enough to do the job to really getting a good understanding of how it all really worked. There's not really a lot of knowledge required in this field. You gotta know standard stuff, where you can and can't put things, specific laws and stuff, but you don't really have to know too much of why. The equipment is cheap enough that it's not worth the time to really get deep into the why. If it doesn't work, move it or replace it. So it can take some time to start really understanding how it works. So I get a call about one of my recent installs. I put a lot of effort into doing things right because if I don't, I'm still the one who has to go back and fix it, and that is *C case to do. So my natural bias is that the customer wasn't paying attention to the instructions and hit a wrong button. But false alarms really piss the local police off, so when you get a call, you go soon. This particular customer had a glass break detector in the master bedroom go off, not every night, but a lot of the times right as they go to bed. It's important to know what's happening when it happens, so I can determine if it's a faulty system, or if it's being triggered somehow accidentally. The detector detects sound, some particular wavelengths, that the most common types of window glass gives off when broken. But it errs on the side of caution, so loud, sharp noises within short distances can trigger it. So you start at the usual suspects. Were you watching a loud action movie? Slam a door? Drop something heavy or made of glass? None of those. I remember a few years ago a small dog in a small room going ballistic set one off, but this one was in a larger carpeted room. But I was out of ideas, so I asked them, "Do you guys have a small yippee dog?" The husband grinned and the wife looked away. They didn't say at first what the nights it did go off had in common. When they asked why about the dog, I went into explaining the thing about loud, sharp noises. Turns out, she was that loud, sharp noise. Knowing this, and that it's not faulty, I turned down the sensitivity a bit, and they never had another problem. And I'd be mad too if my alarm system continually went off every time things got good. I did literally nothing, but I guess I fixed it. Thursday afternoon I got a message from $client. We have daily email reports for XYZ delivered every morning at 9 a.m. through your software. We haven't received any reports for over a week. This is very urgent. Look into it immediately and let us know what's wrong. Doesn't look very urgent if it took $client a week to notice the lack of emails. I know that they are not very tech savvy and they share their administrator account and password with their entire team. So my first guess is some other person deleted the emails or moved it to another folder. But the email subscription system is very important. We have reports going directly to their CEO and VPs, so I drop everything to look into this issue. I pull up the subscription logs. First thing I notice, no errors at all for the past week, everything has been running beautifully. Second thing I notice. Oh. XYZ subscription ran for the last time on February 1st, then nothing. Did someone delete it? Nope, I checked the folder and it's there, I test it and it works fine. I can't reproduce the error. This subscription system of ours is very good at what it does but documented poorly, so it's hard to troubleshoot, and I might need to escalate this to the dev team. I start worrying about how many reports we might have that are not being correctly delivered right now. Then finally, far too late, it occurs to me to check when this subscription was last updated and surprise! It was updated Thursday morning around 11 a.m. Way after the time it should have ran this morning. New hypothesis: someone at client's company messed with the settings on February 1st, possibly set the report to deliver never instead of daily. Then this morning someone reverted the changes, either the same person or someone else. I neither know nor care. Unfortunately, today was also the day client remembered about their precious reports. So they sent me on this wild goose chase without knowing that the problem has already been fixed. Unfortunately, changes to the subscriptions aren't logged, and the users share their passwords merrily all around, so good luck holding anyone accountable for their fuckery. Last time I told client that their very important document had been deleted by their own account, they got snippy and said that was impossible because they were in a meeting all day. So the email I send is just, "Hello client, subscription should be fine now. Let me know if you receive the report tomorrow at 9 a.m. And, as expected, the response: "Great job, thank you for being so quick, it works now." Sure thing. I did literally nothing for 2 hours, but you're still getting billed for that time, so in the end everyone is happy. Zoom call settings. User error. I'm a lone tech support person for a small university program. Lecturer had a guest speaker joining through Zoom, and I wouldn't be around to help since it was later in the evening. I came in beforehand to personally load the presentation files, test a call, and test all of our AV equipment. Sent a message to the lecturer. Me, everything is set. You just need to start the call, don't change any settings. Lecturer, great, thank you so much. Received frantic texts from my boss that evening while I was at home. Audio isn't working. We can't hear the guest with our sound system, and he can't hear us. Came in this morning to an angry boss. Red-faced and raising her voice at me. Literal tantrum level meltdown. Boss, why wasn't anything working last night? This is unacceptable for our instructors. Me, I can't say why until I take a look at it. I tested it last night just beforehand and everything was working / properly configured. There's no reason I can think of unless the settings were somehow changed in the Zoom call. Boss, literally in hysterics at this point. Don't make excuses for the equipment. It's not the lecturer's fault that nothing around here is working. I went to look at it. The Zoom call from the previous night was still open. Lecturer had changed all of the audio and camera settings, and hadn't even joined audio for the call. Boss did not apologize or even express an ounce of remorse for their tone. And that is why I am planning to leave this job. Too many ions. This just happened today, and I think I'm still trying to process it. I had a user whose laptop was frozen, and I had to have her do a forced shutdown by holding the power button. Once it restarted and everything looked fine, the following conversation ensued. Me, it seems to be okay now. In general, it's a good idea to restart your computer at least once a week. Daily would be better, but once a week is the minimum I'd recommend. User, oh right, because of the ions. Me, excuse me? User, my husband works in IT, so I know all about the ions. Me. User, while a computer is on it builds up ions. Me. User, if it has too many ions things stop working properly. Me. User, so you need to restart to clear out all the ions from the computer. Me. Yeah, so make sure you restart every once in a while, okay? I still don't know if her husband actually told her that just to get her to restart regularly, or if he was explaining something else, and she just completely misunderstood what he was trying to tell her. The latter wouldn't surprise me. I've seen people's eyes glaze over as soon as I get even slightly technical when talking about their computer. Even people I would ordinarily consider to be very smart. Saying you messed up isn't hard to admit. I work as a SD analyst in a hospital, but we're located 5 minutes further at an admin building. So I get this doctor on the phone who has issues logging into Citrix Secure Hub on the phone. I send him the guide that we provide our users that includes trouble-free step-by-step pictures. Step 1 was entering the organization's URL. The doctor tells me it doesn't work. I decided to tell him by letters on how to enter it. He proceeds to get frustrated and tell me that the issue is with the app. I proceed to troubleshoot by asking to reinstall, update, etc. Casual analysis. He insisted that he did all that already and won't do it again. I tell him okay then, since I can't find the issue, please come visit us at our office down the road when you're free. He shockingly agrees. Half an hour passes, he visits me at the office and hands me his phone all angry and pissed. So I grab it and the first thing I did was enter the link, and guess what? Wow, it worked. I tried to be all cool about it and continued to sign him in. When I finished, he wanted to launch one of the applications and sign in first because he insisted this one won't work for sure. He signs in with his domain credentials and it didn't work. He shoved his phone in my face and gave me sorta of an "I told you." I asked him kindly re-enter again as the phone might have had an issue entering it. He proceeds, and what you know, it worked. He's all embarrassed and starts being all nice and kept on thanking me for being patient. I just wish the same could have been said, since this was an issue that could have been solved over the phone and within 5 minutes. It can be hell sometimes, but sometimes I gotta admit it does make you feel just a tad better when you show them how simple their issues are when they choose to be impatient. End of rant.